What's up guys, welcome back. Over the years I've had the great pleasure of using, testing and even reviewing just about every kind of controller imaginable. From the very first 2-button controllers to the first controllers that featured a joystick used for 3D action, and from motion controls to infrared sensors, and in between arcade sticks or fight sticks and fight pads. Yet when PowerA sent over this Fusion wired FightPad for Nintendo Switch, my excitement went through the roof. This thing right here is amazing. Spoiler alert. I mean, this thing is great in terms of gameplay, but it also looks amazingly well. And PowerA does have a lot of great designs for their controllers anyways. And I am too excited to share all the ins and outs with you guys about this package right here. So without further ado, let's have a look at the PowerA Fusion wired FightPad for Nintendo Switch. Packaging design is an art, and with this box, PowerA has stepped up their game. The outer casing is made of thick cardboard, which slides over the inner casing just like a slipcover. On the front side we find a picture of the default controller with red faceplate, exclusive to the Nintendo Switch edition, as well as the official Nintendo seal of approval, as this is a licensed product. On the right side we see a snappy picture of the controller, and on the left side of the box you can see the different faceplates which come bundled with the FightPad. On the backside is listed just about everything you'd need to know, including the fact that the cable is 10 feet or 3 meters long, which should be just about fine in most setups. And in the top right hand corner it is shown that this controller is also compatible with the PC. Super handy! When we remove the outer casing, we are greeted by a little envelope containing the very detailed user manual square in the middle of the package. The user manual clearly shows the controller layout, how to connect the controller to the dock, explanation of the D-pad toggle switch, explanation of the shoulder button toggle switch, how to change the faceplates, use a headset, and some general warnings for good measure. Really nice booklet, this thing. After removing the envelope, we see the beloved FightPad with the default red faceplate mounted on it. What a beauty this is! And it does have considerable weight to it. Even though there's no rumble feature or battery pack, it has very good weight to it, much more so than you'd expect by just looking at it. Just underneath the controller we find the other two faceplates hidden behind this little plastic mold. The white faceplate in plain sight and the ash black version right underneath it, separated by this thin foam cushion. Both of these will give you the possibility to style your controller just the way you want it. Really cool stuff, this. And finally, at the very top of the box we find the very thoroughly designed braided USB cable with snap lock and inline release. I do prefer wireless controllers in general, but when it comes to fight sticks, arcade sticks and fight pads, wired connections are still the standard for good reason. So PowerA doubled down on the design of this cable, and the result is one of the highest quality USB cables you can find. Kudos, guys! Styled after Sega's best innovation, the 6-face button controller, the Fusion FightPad has the same A, B, X and Y button layout as any Nintendo Switch controller, with the addition of the R and ZR buttons on the right side as face buttons. All the same, when we turn the controller over, both the R and ZR buttons are featured as shoulder buttons, just like the L and ZL buttons. The L and R buttons have very little travel time and are extremely responsive. Great work, this! As the Switch doesn't natively support analog triggers, the ZL and ZR buttons are digital buttons and are designed very well. Both the location and travel time are very nicely done so. In between the shoulder buttons we find the so-called shoulder button toggle switch. In the default left position, the shoulder buttons function as labeled. And when we slide it into the right position, the R buttons function changes to the R3 function, the button below the right joystick. And next to the toggle switch is located the USB port. When we return to the face of the controller, we see a floating D-pad of the very highest standard. In over 30 years of video gaming, I have rarely seen a better D-pad. This thing is a blessing. Using this D-pad, you can easily pull off rolling combos in fighting games, allowing you to quickly master difficult in-game moves, which are next to impossible using a regular D-pad. The concave shape around the D-pad is the cherry on top, setting you up for the most ergonomic grip imaginable. At the center of the controller, we find the default Nintendo Switch system buttons, the plus and minus buttons at the top, the home and screen sharing buttons at the bottom. All of these are made of nice quality plastic so that you don't slip off them too easily. Just below them is a small toggle allowing you to change the function of the D-pad between the D-pad, left joystick and right joystick, or the C-stick. Whereas in plenty of games, the functions of the D-pad and the left joystick are interchangeable. For those games which can only use either for movement, having this toggle helps in making this controller much more versatile. At the bottom of the controller there is a 3.5mm audio jack, allowing you to plug in a set of earphones or headphones. And finally, when we turn the controller up once more, we see a little notch right here, just below the bottom of the faceplate. By using minimal effort, the faceplate can be lifted so as to change to a different color. And they snap on just like this. You can see there are only 5 small magnets holding this thing in place, which is very well designed, allowing you to quickly interchange the faceplates while at the same time keep them in place even during the most heated battle session. For the purpose of reviewing this controller, I'll be throwing it for a spin, playing some classic Street Fighter 2 on Nintendo Switch, as that is simply one of the most iconic 6-button fighting games out there. Chun-Li says hi.
Ultra Street Fighter 2!
When it comes to the Street Fighter universe, ever since I watched the short anime Street Fighter 2 V, I am a big-time Ryu fan. So let's select our protagonist and let's head for some arcade action.
USA!
To be completely honest with you guys, I have always played and bought Street Fighter games over the years. But unlike my skills in most technical fighting games, you know, like Blaze Blue, or Guilty Gear, or even Samurai Showdown and stuff, I always kind of sucked playing Street Fighter either by using regular controllers or by using an arcade stick or fight stick. Even though, personally, I do prefer arcade sticks for fighting games. Yet, playing this game, this version of Street Fighter, by using this FightPad, this Fusion FightPad from PowerA, I find myself being able to pull off most of the character-specific special moves with much more ease than ever before. This thing really works for me, to the extent that I didn't think was possible. I mean, fight sticks versus FightPad is one of the oldest debates out there, and most critics would tell you a different type of controller won't help improve your fighting game skills at all. But I disagree, I disagree heavily, because this Fusion FightPad proves otherwise. I absolutely love it. Bring it on, baby! Yes! Got him! That was a close one. A little too close for comfort, really. Next, please!
Jamaica! Round 1, fight!
So let's see if we can pull off some Hadouken right here. Maybe sure you can. Kinda getting my ass handed to me. Phew, a little too close for comfort, but we're moving on.
Win. 2 fight.
Perfect, alright, a flawless
You
victory.
win. Perfect.
So there you have it, guys, the PowerA Fusion Wired FightPad for Nintendo Switch. I absolutely love this thing. I know technically it's not a pro controller, not by a long shot. I mean, it doesn't feature any joysticks, at least no physical joysticks, that is, or rumble feature, NFC support, that all is missing out on this controller. However, it is still one of the very best controllers out on the market right now. I mean, you won't be able to comfortably play through any kind of game which requires both joysticks to be used at the same time. I say Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, that kind of stuff. Yet, for all of the games that don't have that requirement, this is probably the best kind of setup you can imagine. The D-pad is of a very high standard, the best I have used thus far. The buttons, either on the face of the controller or on the shoulders, are of equal standard. And especially those faceplate buttons, they're laid out in the perfect setup for any kind of fighting game out there. Add to that the fact that you can insert headphones or earphones. You have included in this package a braided, very high quality USB cable. And there's even the inclusion of 3 interchangeable faceplates. Add to that, of course, that very nicely designed product packaging. You can shelf it, but at least it comes in a very nice packaging. And you have yourself the perfect treasure of a gift for this holiday season. And with that, guys, I am signing off. If you have enjoyed this review, be sure to, punch that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Do me a favor and drop a comment in the section down below. Are you actually willing to fork up 60 euros or $60 US for this kind of controller? I know it's a niche product, but it is a product that you won't be regretting buying anytime soon. Or perhaps you would, but I sincerely doubt it, but convince me otherwise. And I will see you next time.